Benjamin went to the Bob Dylan concert.
Oh, Benjamin was there. That was not the 80s. That was long, long before the 80s. Welcome to Tuesday night, folks. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
What's
On
up?
behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is Thank God It's Tuesday. He's Kevin Ricca.
What's going on, guys? Let's talk some ball, talk some rock. And it's August. This is what we're going to do.
We're slightly off kilter here. He's Tim Strachan.
Yeah, it may be preseason, but we actually have some football to talk about for once. And I got a lot more out of this game than I thought I was going to get out of it going into it. So I'm pretty excited, man. It was fun to do. It was a nice day. It felt like a football game, despite some differences in the way things looked, from uniforms to the way everything was set up in the stadium. But, man, it was just cool to see football happen again.
Well, kind of the beauty of Offseason on the Brink is kind of not just the football stuff, but the non-football stuff. That is what makes an off-season so off-season-y.
Brinky?
Wait, it got worse? It just got worse.
You went wrong way. What was his name? Wrong way Jones?
Wrong way Jones.
Wrong way Jefferson?
This is like a Bugs Bunny cartoon all of a sudden. All right, so the right side needs to come down.
Yeah, looks like Albuquerque.
I know what, the American people know. All right, how about that?
That looks crazy. That looks like it's going underneath the table at the unmentionables.
Is that just focusing on just your legs?
This isn't entertainment.
Listen, my OnlyFans account is definitely going to sue. There's litigations coming.
This has got OnlyFans written all over it.
Did we flip over from our OnlyFans burner account? Are we good?
I was looking for a checker out.
Oh God, it's so
worse.
bad. It's the worst I've ever seen. We can't move forward anymore like this.
Eric Anderson's like, that's perfect. That's just fine.
We usually don't start drinking at like lunch. I think that's gonna be better, Ken.
When we get the first light of the night always comes from a proper camera setup. It's gonna be just.
Yeah, I think everybody loves this part. This is their favorite part.
It's like an Easter egg, but it's not hidden at all. The least hidden Easter egg ever.
Whoa.
What do we got? Call it out.
We're good.
Yeah, we're
good.
Are we
You're
good for real?
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking at a face. It's not.
I mean,
we're good.
the camera's good. I
It
don't
looks
know if
good.
you're good.
It looks good. AGA said it was fine, and for those about to rock, he salutes you.
All right, let's do it. I tried to take the crown. You got to take the crown molding out.
Exactly.
When we finished it off, the guy was like, I want some crown molding. He was like, dude, like your ceiling is 5 feet tall. Everyone's gonna hit their head on your ceiling. What in God's name makes you think you can't have crown molding? It'll make your room. It'll look like a Willy Wonka, hallway. So I got to have it.
All right.
He figured it out.
Here we go.
Figured it out. What's up, guys? So, long story short, we do have some football to talk about, but it's still mostly just team building stuff. But that's, to me, like that's the juicy part of the offseason. And it is the glorified practices where they get to run up and bang up against guys in other uniforms makes it helpful, I guess, to advance. Our advancement today involves getting rid of some guys. The two names that stand out as far as moves made, Sammy Reyes and Troy Apke. It's the end of an era.
The Apke era. Cheers, Troy.
I mean, we don't cheers every guy who comes and goes.
We're gonna miss you, buddy.
But the lightning rods, the guys who everyone thinks like, why is that guy still on our team? And yet he is on our team for years. I didn't mind it, but he can't make this team now, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
When Rivera said he was on the team, I was like, great. Was it at all cringe though, in any way whatsoever, when on a national network they were talking about him being like the first white quarterback since Jason Sehorn or something like that? Like that was kind of weird.
Well, when he ran his 40, Deion Sanders came out of the booth and went and hugged him because he was the fastest. He was like, holy hell. So that was the hype. And then remember he played on that all-star team and Mike Martz coached him and was like, this guy is going to be special.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well, all right. and now he's gone.
Now he's gone. Now he's gone.
He did okay. He wasn't a bust. He did exactly what he was supposed to.
He'll be fine. I don't know that he's necessarily going to catch on with another team. I think, obviously you cut a guy like Troy Apke this early. It's really out of respect for his game. You want to give him a chance to catch on somewhere else. Well, I'm not really sure where that's going to be, if it's still going to be in the sport of football. But here's one thing I know, that over the course of the last 20 years, guys who have been cut, especially in our first round of cuts, not necessarily our second round of cuts, the quality of our first round of cuts, you dropped off some of that quality in the men's room about 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, T.
Those guys weren't playing anywhere. The football was over for them.
Right.
You no longer are in the profession. Now I do think we're a rung or two above that, and I don't know that a guy like Sammy Reyes, if he is ultimately jettisoned with this injury settlement, or Troy Apke, if they're going to play somewhere else, but it's a higher quality of cut player in the first round than we've seen in quite some time. And you know what? Is that polishing a turd enough for you?
I mean, I don't know how many turds you can polish in one statement. But,
That was a lot.
That was a lot. That's a lot. You're going to need help. But, I'm not going to help.
Don't help.
Guys like that get cut.
Appreciate
I don't
you.
know.
Appreciate
but
that.
but I get what you're saying. It wasn't two no-name guys. It was guys that we had hopes for.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, I guess it's polishing a turd by saying a guy that has been on this roster for how many years now
4.
Yep.
is now a guy that's no longer good enough to be on this roster. That, in my opinion, says that this team as a whole is getting better.
Second multiple year safety from our organization, Landon Collins being the other one that is no longer with the team after an off season.
Was he listed as a safety this year after being listed as a corner last year?
I mean, he started the season
safety
as a
the year
safety.
before, and
He made the
whatever.
team as a safety.
Yeah,
They didn't
Position
write special
switches-
teams next to him. That's all they
position-
needed to write. He was on the team for specials.
Position switches, once you get to the NFL, I would like to think, don't really pan out all that well. And we have a couple others on this team to talk
Yeah.
about as well.
Yeah, farewell, Apke.
Farewell, Abke. Some guys who let's focus on some positive stuff. Not guys who made the team after the first preseason game. 'Cause I don't believe necessarily in that. But I'll start on the offensive side. Guys who showed us that, well, first and foremost, that they're going to be able to play, pretty much right away. I think, to me, a guy that jumps right off the list is Brian Robinson.
Without a doubt.
Not that it's a surprise, third round out of Alabama, but he looks the part, he acts the part, and no matter what, I don't think Gibson's going to be. I hope he's not going to be a fumbler. I don't think he's going to be a fumbler. I think we're going to use him. I think we're going to need him. I think he's going to do great. But Brian Robinson will make him better, and I think Brian Robinson's going to get a hell of a lot of touches.
And we always thought that. We always liked him when we drafted him. He's a big old dude, 6'2", 230. He's not a burner. He's not that elusive, but he's coming right at you. He's great in pass pro, and he's tough as nails, and he's perfect to have out there. He's by the way, his fumble stats at Alabama, 597 touches, 2 fumbles. So I did that dive because Antonio Gibson, I think, is getting a bit of a raw deal. We are proving a point right now.
Yep.
But you don't have a 6'2", 230-pound guy that runs a 4.39 that was 4th in carries in the NFL last year that all of a sudden lost his job.
That's
These
right.
two guys are going to
didn't-
split carries.
Yes.
However that is figured out, it will unfold as the season progresses. We are proving a point. You cannot fumble it, but I'm going to say right now, in the last 6 games last year, 127 touches for Antonio Gibson. He had 1 fumble. Everyone else in the top 5 last year in their final 6 games with over 100 touches also had 1 fumble. So it's not like he came in recent fumble. Now, I get it right away. It doesn't look good, but we are really banging this guy over the head, a preseason fumble.
Well, some
is-
people are saying he should lose the starting job.
Which is ludicrous.
That Robinson should be the starter. One of the most overused phrase in recent time in football is iron sharpens iron. That's what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Robinson has come in here as a seasoned running back, maybe not an NFL running back,
Right.
but as a seasoned running back,
Take it easy
and he
there,
showed that on
He did.
Saturday.
I
He
agree.
was, without a doubt, there to prove a point that he could play at this level, and he can. It is going to make Gibson better. It is going, that kind of competition is going to make him better. If Robinson can continue to produce like that, it will change Gibson's role a little bit. He will still be number 1, but he's going to be used a little bit differently. Maybe he can be used in a slot. Maybe he can be used with Robinson.
Maybe he just gets one or two less carries
and he gets.
less wear and tear.
And that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets a couple less carries. Maybe he picks up a couple of catches, right? But Robinson has proved so far we got to keep an eye on him as a guy that can take more carries and make this offense better.
And Antonio Gibson, like you said, is in year 3 of being a running back in the history of his football life, not just the NFL. He's going to be just fine. Hey, Brian Robinson, let's. What are we going to do when he puts one on the ground this weekend? What are we going to turn around and give it to Jared Patterson or freaking? So let's all take a break here. Hey, Antonio Gibson is by far the faster, more elusive running back. He's by far the bigger talent, the bigger weapon. Robinson looked by far and away more comfortable and in between the tackles, and that's fine. That's what Gibson's been learning. Both of them are going to be badass for us this year.
He's been doing running back drills far longer than Gibson's been doing them. So
they're both going to get plenty of care.
I love it because
he's got better fundamentals.
Part of football,
he's just done it
for our whole lives is who's the starter, who's the top of the depth charts, and all this crap. So that's obviously a big conversation and water cooler thing. But in the NFL, right this very second, if you don't have 2 running backs, I mean, we McKissick's back there. If you don't have, let's say you don't have 4 or 5 offensive skill players, period, whatever they are, you're not going anywhere. You're probably not going to win a lot of games. You're definitely not going to the playoffs. And more often than not, there's only there's only one Derrick Henry, you know? There's only one Jonathan Taylor. There's not teams. The money tells the whole story. Where the salary cap goes, teams know we can get fast, agile, elusive, talented running backs on day 2 in the draft. We can pay them, that 3 or 4 year deal, which is next to nothing. Hardly any running backs are breaking the bank when they get to their second contract. The name of the game is have 2 guys. Have 2 guys. And yeah, like to your point, like Robinson's totally going to fumble at some point in time, and it's going to cause us
oh my God!
It's going to be insane.
Give it to somebody else. This is ridiculous. But here's the deal. That's why we got him.
Yeah, you hit a guy. You hit it on in the 3rd round. We got a guy in the 3rd round.
4 years on a rookie deal, and 2 of those 4, Gibson will also be on a rookie deal, which means our 2 workhorses for the next 2 seasons are on that cherished rookie deal at the running back position. Well, that's good business.
Developing running backs is what the best teams are doing. Running backs who are getting who are spilling off the edges of organizations and on other people's laps. That's what the good organizations do. To me, and I don't mean to put you guys on the spot, I immediately think of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in Cleveland. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of a better 2 running back, 2 deep in the league. I'm sure there's a few, but the potential for Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson is there. So the reason why a game that we had
Kamara and Ingram might be in the mix.
I'll give you that.
Maybe. No, I'm not saying they're better.
Ingram's a pro.
That's another guy. That's another mix you'd throw out.
He's a battering ram.
Yeah.
But until we play the first preseason game and really the first round of practices and get into mid-August, all the stuff we say about guys like Brian Robinson is the stuff we've said about 3rd-round picks for 20 years, because that's what we say in the basement on Tuesday nights. Guys are like, oh, man, we got a running back out of Alabama. He's 6'2", 230, super fast. We know he's going to blah, blah, blah. But then you see him in action, and he starts passing eye tests that you never had a chance to see before, and that it's just a comforting feeling. It's not about I think that we're doing a disservice to our fandom when we view it in through the prism of one guy's the number 1.
Gibson lost his job. Gibson lost his job. Did you see? I'm like,
the job is running back, and it needs multiple people to fulfill the job.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I should start with that.
We'll be all right there. We're going to be all right.
So how about wide receiver? A lot of guys were on the field. Was there a wide receiver that caught your eye? Outside guys.
Well, I mean, Eric Anderson had an incredible play. He didn't do much in the return game, but it was great to see Samuels get a catch. It was great to see him on the field. It was great. In my opinion, one of the best things about very simple example of why Wentz is great is the first pass to McLaurin, an 8-yard comeback where you can get it to the outside. Honestly, that's probably one of the hardest passes for Heineke to make just because he doesn't have the zip on the ball. So, little things like that I saw as, huge positives with the passing game. But of the young guys, I'm not sure if one guy really stood out.
Kevin, the idea that Carson Wentz, what we've been saying in the basement about, for all the negatives that jump off the screen and the social media posts, he's a prototypically sized and strength NFL quarterback. I saw the same thing T saw. The comeback to your WR1 on an 8-yard comeback with zip on the ball, it should be undefendable for the most part, almost every time.
And we should not be underwhelmed because of Heineke's arm. The ball pops out of Carson Wentz's hand. It freaking pops on the screen. It's just, boom. He is so gifted with arm strength, and that's going to be fun. He seemed cool, calm, and collective, 10 for 13, but under control, and just seemed easy to him. And that's what I wanted to see. Not watching a guy trying to claw and fight his way into the league in the preseason. He's just out there maintaining. But Curtis Samuels, I think what we saw that first catch on third down, that just a little delayed out. He ran a little switch, came back, and got hit. He's going to make first downs for us all season long if healthy. He's going to be quite the weapon. And then I think you got to see a little bit of that, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Which all we've seen is a little bit, but no, that was cool to see.
I think that when you look at some of the catches that McKissick has gotten in the last 2 seasons for us,
he's a star.
And he's an absolute superstar who's capable of that. But I envision Curtis Samuel running a lot of those plays in Scott Turner's offense. Did it matter to you guys? Sidebar, Ewald said we need to bring back Sean Alexander, which is funny to me, not just because of bringing back Sean Alexander, but we have had a history of adding a second stud running back during the preseason. Larry Johnson, Sean Alexander, T.J. Duckett,
Adrian Peterson. That one worked. That one worked out.
That one totally worked.
T.J. Duckett.
T.J. Duckett, that was a huge one.
Not so much.
I was so excited when he got here. I loved him in Atlanta.
Dude, we traded a 3rd-round pick for T.J. Duckett.
God, I loved him.
He showed up at about 3:15 from what I recall.
He played 0 downs.
He was like,
zero downs for us.
Can someone direct me to Ben's chili
never
bowl?
got a carry
Stat. He was so
unreal.
chunky.
I mean, it was a cock block trade. That's the famous move of it.
Yeah.
Like we thought we were so good in that year with Gibbs, and we were fighters. But at the end of the day, we were a running back away, but someone else wanted him, and so we traded to get him instead. Anyways,
T.J. McDuckett, I think it was his nickname.
Scott Turner being on the sidelines versus the booth, does it matter?
No.
It
might matter to him. Now, yeah. I love being on the sidelines at the little league level, at the high school level, with the option to go up. And you have a more clear vantage point, but you get a feel of the pulse of what's going on down there. Like, I don't need someone being like, so-and-so just got the wind knocked out of him. What? Huh? I'm trying. You got to know what's going on around you a little bit, and whatever is his comfort level.
Somebody out there, I'm sure, has statistics on who's done what when on the sidelines and in the booth, but it's a personal.
Yep.
Choice.
Okay. All right. I mean, I could give 0 F's about whether he's on the sidelines or not, but that they were trying to make that into a story this week, which is also kind of an underlining of the fact that, and I mentioned this in the post on Hogs Haven. Welcome to everybody from Hogs Haven. By the way, everybody from Hogs Haven and everybody else, do us a favor. Click on the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. It is free. Click the bell. Get notifications of when we go live, not just in the basement, but on the sidelines around the DMV. And if and only if we say something that you guys like, don't be bashful and hit that thumbs up. We have no idea where those likes go. By the way, no idea. I have no idea. Is there like a bucket of them somewhere? Like, do we on a yearly basis? So
Didn't you see
your
Wreck-It
likes?
He
I have
keeps
no
him
idea.
in the Chubb bucket. You notice how he brought Nick Chubb up first 3 weeks in a row.
I don't know who gets these likes. I hope it's us someday. But these clicks are somewhat meaningful. Kevin, yeah.
Please like both, Kev. Just
the OnlyFans likes don't carry over. They don't carry over. You actually have to click twice.
It's not a consortium.
It's not a consortium. I want to talk defense.
Yeah.
I want to talk defensive secondary, and that covers all of it. That's not anyone not named a linebacker or a defensive lineman. Anyone stand out to you guys in the game we saw?
T-Bird was talking about the safeties outside.
Well, I mean, some of the young guys I thought really showed some promise that they could play at this level. Percy Butler, Parker, whether he makes the team or not, but dudes came to play. I don't think the ones really got enough to really show,
Sure.
anything spectacular. But I do think that they showed they're developing some depth and some young depth in the defensive backfield. Not names that we really know, but we didn't know Cam Curl either. And
Yep.
maybe this coaching staff has either in part gotten lucky with getting certain guys, and two, maybe they're really good at developing these guys. But I was encouraged with the defensive backs throughout the whole game.
Kevin, Cam Curl sliding up as a coverage guy looks like it's going to be a thing potentially this season. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to. I should have had my chance to wrap my mind around that idea. I know he's capable, but do you like it? Or do you have any issues with that? Or
No, he's one of the 7 sons of 7, man. He's one of the 7th-round picks that's sticking around, these 7 guys, and there's a reason why. We're using him in that role because we knew what we had in this guy, and he had some injuries in college, but his true freshman year, we talk about it all the time. In the SEC, he starts at cornerback for Arkansas at 6'3", as a true freshman, not as a redshirt. So he went out there, and he guarded the country's best 3-4 years ago, and he's done it at practice every day. And when we know who he's going up against over his career, every day of practice in that situation, he has been there. He can do that. Now, we don't want to make him a corner because obviously he has another skill set that is important to us. But when we're talking about just being the hybrid type guy, of course he is, and I hate saying it, versatility. But there's a different word to use. I would, but it's what the league calls for.
But look,
and he's got plenty of it.
What is the job of the other team, right? What is the job of the offensive coordinator you're playing against? Find your matchups that are going to give yourself an advantage. If you got guys that are these hybrid whatever, it's hard to find an advantage. It's hard to put a running back against a safety.
But are you playing man?
Who's
And that guy
faster
playing man?
or bigger,
In
but you got a
certain
safety who
situations.
can run as well. Hey, give me as many hybrid guys as you can
Right.
find, and you can find the right spot for them on the field.
You're-
My point is, when you got guys like Reeves, Parker, making big plays, that's
Forrest.
exactly.
Forrest looks like he might start.
Guys that might not play, though. I mean, that might not make this team if they're making plays. That again, that's just saying a lot. I think about maybe this defensive backfield is not in such a dire need or spot that we thought. Maybe if that kind of
This is
play
where-
can be sustained.
This is where the who's starting conversation is way more prevalent than running back. Running back, it just carries and touches. We got guys we think they can handle the load. At defensive back, whether it's 5 or 6 guys, on any given play, depending on the package, it's a big deal on who's winning those jobs. We have Fuller and William on the outsides, right? We got. I think we're penciling Cam. Obviously, he's inking Cam. He's in the back. I think St. Juice has earned a top 3 CB.
He looks like our nickel.
Yeah. So that's 4. It looks like Derek Forrest, I think, at this point in time, and it's August 16th, so there's almost a month to go. But he looks like he's playing himself into that 5th spot. That leaves 2 other players, and I know I'm leaving some names out there so we can kind of have a conversation. But that leaves 1 or 2 other players, depending on what you're rolling with, in today's NFL that you're counting on. Give me the next one.
The next D-back.
Yeah, who's on the field in that scenario?
After we went through Fuller, Jackson, the rookie, man, another one of the 7s. Christian Holmes. I mean, he has worked himself up to the number 2 spot at the starting cornerback position. He's a backup dude, and we really value these picks, and apparently he brings it, and he's a hardworking dude. I got to see a little bit more from this week. For me, last week was more part of just taking it all in, listening to the horrendous fight song and whatever else, and seeing the stadium. But guys, there was 182 guys that wore helmets on the football field last week. It's just a lot for me. It's a lot for my brain to take.
It's like bowl week.
There's 160 guys on the sidelines every play. That's good.
But I think you
it's hard.
get a
It's
different
hard.
perspective, though, if you really stick it out and watch the game through. Guys like Parker, right, who may not make this roster, but he's making a name for himself. That was cool to see.
Okay.
Don't forget we also have McCain, right?
Well, I left Bobby out there for you guys. I mean, if Bobby's fully healthy and we get our way through August, I guarantee you Bobby McCann's going to be on the field for our
100%.
defense pretty much all the time.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think that Jesse Bates is walking through that door. I don't think that I don't know, and I don't believe at this point that Landon Collins is walking through that door.
I was about to say, we were talking before, Rhett, who's, once again sitting over there, did bring it up about, is he still not signed? Are you clamoring for him to come back right now?
I'm not clamoring for him to come back right now.
After seeing that, hey, we got some players that we didn't know we had that could play like that.
Here's what I believe. I believe if Landon Collins was in demand to be a safety, he would already be a safety somewhere in the league. I believe that we have guys that we need to see for another 2 weeks in practice and in these preseason games. And if Landon Collins can keep himself in shape on the side and be able to come in if we do need him in 2 or 3 weeks. But the reps right now are way too valuable to give to an old veteran like Landon Collins, who we know can come in and do whatever we ask him. Old Landon. Yeah. Those reps have to go to the Christian Holmeses and the Derek Forrests and
specifically Derek Forrest, I believe.
Yes.
In this conversation.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
They have to go that way. Coaches have to get as much film as humanly possible, put them in as many situations as they possibly can. And if they get to the end of that line, end of the road, Boys to Men style, then it's time to make that call to Landon Collins. But until then, every single ball, every single snap, every single whistle has to go to those young guys.
I see nothing wrong with that. Those young guys were they even born? Were they even born in the '80s? I don't think they were.
All right, so I'm throwing you guys off. I'm throwing you guys a little bit out of. I'm gonna curveball to you guys a little bit here. So last week we did '80s theme. We did movies, right? All-time movie comedy movie characters.
Yes, we did.
This week we're doing '80s rock songs, and I know the people that are watching right now are very interested in understanding our idea of what rock actually truly is, and who should belong on this list and who's going to get drafted. AGH from Wales. Is it still the United Kingdom? I never know after Brexit what it is anymore. All I know is we're playing you guys on the World Cup, so technically we should be at war. But you're going to be making the picks for the 80s the rock songs. So 2 weeks of 80s themed. I have to ask you guys, as fellow Redskins fans of the 80s, and in front of a board full of people who do remember the greatest generation.
Most of them.
The greatest Redskins generation. If I had a Tom Brokaw voice, I would break it out. The greatest Redskins generation. So
he broke it out.
I broke it out. So I want to ask you, and maybe ask the board as well, and some people need to kind of live vicariously through our joy of our memories. 80s, okay? In no particular order, we're gonna all three of us do best 80s player, best 80s game. I want to do best 80s season, okay? And we can go around. You don't have to pick them in that order. You can kind of give me what you want as we go through. Right this very second. I told you I was going to throw a curveball. 80s player, 80s game.
80s game.
80s season.
A game in the 80s.
Yeah, a game in the 80s. Yeah, yes. There's more than three of them to go around.
You're not talking about capture
I'll
the
go
flag.
first. I'll go first.
What do you want? Of those three, you can
and
pick
what was
one
the
of
last
them.
one?
I'm going to go the
Player, game, season. Go ahead. What do you got? I'm going second. Because I can't let this go. But go ahead.
NFC Championship game at RFK.
Cowboys, Redskins. Daryl Grant. By the way, on the cover of Hogs Haven tonight is a picture of Dexter and Daryl.
Dexter deflected the ball, I believe, on a rush.
I got you.
And Daryl did. I think he might have done the Billy White Shoes Johnson
It was almost a
celebration.
Deion high stepper.
Yeah, it was big time. He sat on at Caddy. He sat at the bar with us and told us about that.
Yes, he did.
On a live stream broadcast. That was a fun night.
We got to get Daryl back.
I was in the stadium for that, and I that was just something that I could never. I remember how it smells and how it felt and how it sounded.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it.
And we wanted Dallas.
Yes,
And
I
we
was
got
there
him.
the week before, and we were chanting it against. We mauled somebody. Was that
49ers?
Maybe. I don't remember that, but I remember how just Danny White just crumpled up in a small package for a majority of the first half. I think Hogaboom had to come in at some point, and there was all kinds of business happening.
All right, so I get to go best season. No. You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go game, and I'm just gonna take Super Bowl. I'm gonna take Doug for 5 in the second. I'm gonna take Timmy Smith. I'm gonna take Ricky Sanders.
Best
Art
quarter of
Monken,
football
and
ever played.
Best quarter of offensive football ever played in the
Yep.
history of football. Super Bowl was at 22, Kev.
Super Bowl, that was 22.
Super
Yes,
Bowl
sir.
22. Super Bowl 22, my game of the 80s. See how easy this is? See how easy this is for Redskins fans to play if you give us a good decade? If you give us a good decade. We just came up with 2 great games. The NFC Championship. Now, that was the game. That was the game that sent us to the Super Bowl against
No, that was our first Super Bowl. That was against Miami.
the Miami.
Yes.
Beating
Yes.
the Cowboys sent
Yes.
us to Miami.
And let's all remind each other, the Dallas Cowboys have never beat us in the postseason. They're a lifetime 0-2. That is never has the Dallas Cowboys beat the football team Redskin Commanders ever.
It's a good
The
nugget.
Skins.
T, you can take any one of those. You can take best player, best game, best season.
Well, I mean, the best player was John Riggins.
Oh, there you go. I was
I mean, without a
wrestling
doubt.
between the two. You
All
win.
3 of my answers are are all related.
Okay, well, you take John Riggins, the Riggo, Diesel, number 44.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
easily.
if you're a Skins fan from that era, how could it not be?
Arguably,
Arguably, it could be Daryl.
No. I'm gonna go Daryl.
I said arguably.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal Daryl from him. There's a couple other easy ones. Daryl Green
Well, I have 3, so it
Yeah.
just made it easy for
played
me.
for
because Art Monk is
an
the-
eternity.
is the-
It was
Yeah.
between Art and Daryl.
It's
I know there's people on this board who were at the Hall of Fame induction for Art Monk and Daryl Green, and the standing ovation for Art Monk to this day is one of the greatest standing ovations
Deserved.
for any Hall of Fame inductee ever.
pure class.
It was
Pure
the
class.
greatest. Yes.
Never heard anything bad about him. Never had a cross-word about anything. It felt so bad at the end of his career when he had to go put on a freaking green jersey for a year or
Yeah.
2. God, that sucked. But I mean, just one of the most
I know.
professionals I've ever seen.
Mark Ribbon to Art Monk against the Broncos on Monday night to break the record. Is that right? I believe it was.
I was
888 was his final for us. I think.
Was that Mark? I mean, it was. I know.
I don't know.
I can't. I don't remember. You know what? It might have been.
Jay.
Was it Jay? No,
Schrader?
I don't think it was. Was it Jay?
Well, while you guys are just debating that, I'm going to jump up and say the 1991 season.
Oh,
is
dude,
my pick.
no, that's not the
No,
80s.
that's not the 80s.
That's not
Oh,
the 80s. And technically,
oh,
T, you get
shit.
to go
Okay.
player, or you get to go.
We're in order here.
game.
So I went first.
No. Well, we both have 2,
Right.
right? We both have a player
Okay.
and a game. He only has a player, so you can pick a game or a season.
I
91 season.
said
would
mine
be
all
great.
has a theme. So I'm going to go for the game.
Yep,
I'm going to go 83 Super Bowl.
against the Dolphins.
Yes.
Is it just me, or have you spent a lifetime? I know you haven't because you're like Rain Man in terms of this stuff. But the whole idea of like the year of the season and the year of the Super Bowl,
It's so annoying.
it crushes me. It like crushes my brain.
82 season was the 83 Super Bowl.
Yes.
91 season was the 92
Yeah, so
Super
you
Bowl.
want the
So
82
annoying.
season. I think you want the 82 season.
That's my theme.
I know. Okay. I'm just saying, but not the 83 season. The 82 season that led to the 83 Super Bowl.
Correct.
It's crazy to
83
me.
Super
It
Bowls.
blows. It like destroys me.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the 83 season.
No, which is by far one of the greatest seasons in the history of
Sorry,
football.
kid.
I know.
You can have it. I was just being.
I mean, do I go Jack Pardee in 1981? But you know what? Or 80? But I'm not going to.
Just saying this, that 83, the reason I get to pick it is because I was at that Super Bowl. I was there when we lost in Tampa Bay to the Raiders.
We got
Marcus Allen was
Destroyed.
pretty good, and apparently we were out drinking. Not just me and my dad,
everyone.
the whole franchise.
I mean, true or false? That team was in 83 season was better than the team in 82 season.
It was the best offensive output ever, except for the year before, and they were on a roll. They had no business not winning that Super Bowl. That was. And the night before the game, I was in the team hotel. So were the Hogettes, the cheerleaders. There was parties everywhere. It was like free for all. Mark Mosley had blue blockers on and a complete S curl with that Sergio Tacchini, the whole nine. Everyone was styled up. I was just like, I have pictures with everyone. The next day was not so bueno.
Not so bueno.
But it was one hell. Yeah, the jet screen right before half. It's Joe Gibbs' worst call of all time.
I know, because they famously have mic'd up coverage of the defensive coaches saying, "By the way, remember when they ran a jet screen against us against the end of the half? Just sit on that one and see what happens." Yeah. It's bad.
And Theismann never should have thrown it, but
I know. It's dude.
It doesn't matter. Marcus Helen ran around like he was like just greased. Like
So, you know what?
No one could.
I think
no one could get him down.
When I watched that, I was like, you know what? This guy's good. He might stick around. He might be a player for a while in this league.
Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
You were brilliant.
The future touchdown king.
You were
of the
brilliant.
league.
Yeah.
Hey, they were good, man. They just weren't as loaded as we were. I mean, Jim Plunkett, Tom Flores was the coach. They were, and they had that whole thing. They painted on all the billboards and all of Tampa Bay and said it was Tampa Bay East. I mean, Las Vegas or Oakland East.
Oakland East.
And a tradition of excellence. And every single billboard had it was. They took over that place and then they whooped our ass.
Whooped our ass. All right, so you have a season, a player, and a game. You have a season and a player, but no game.
I do have a game.
What's your
I did
game?
the- Well, I did the Super Bowl.
You're taking the
I took the 83 Super Bowl.
83 Super Bowl.
82
Okay.
82
82
season.
season, 83 Super Bowl.
Yes.
Right, you're in. You're done. So that means I have a player, I have a game, and now I got to take a season that wasn't. I mean, I think the fun of it. Wasn't there a movie starring Keanu Reeves that was based on
The comeback.
Yes.
our 87
That
season?
is the great one to take.
It is
So,
a great-
The scab season.
So the beauty of this is and-
Monty was going to be my mention. Sorry, damn it.
What's that?
I had to go Art Monk over Monty, but we always have to get a Monty mention.
Monty
all three
Coleman,
of us. All three of us love
no
Monty.
doubt, no doubt. The picture dilemma tonight was between a picture of Dexter and Daryl or a picture of Monty.
Yeah.
So I went with Dexter and Daryl, but there's 3 Super Bowls in the '80s. Real simple for us to come up with the answers on this exercise. But the '87 season was great. Because it was a strike-shortened season, which is kind of a theme if you weren't paying attention for some of our Super Bowl wins. The replacements, the scabs, were a story.
They were awesome.
Really helped us get to a position of playoff contention because we weren't world beaters, going into the postseason at all. Our quarterback was completely an unsettled question.
We had 2 scab quarterbacks, and
Yes.
one of them was one of the most talented guys ever. But
Rupert?
Yes, it was tough. He didn't know where he was going to be.
And Coleman was the receiver, right?
Anthony Allen.
Anthony Allen, not Coleman.
255 yards to this day is the record for most yards receiving in a Redskins game, and he only played 3 quarters.
He only played 3
He
quarters.
only played 3 quarters.
It was a lot of fun. It was weird. And also we were young enough where we weren't like jaded by the business side of like strike or this or
It
that.
seemed like magic to me.
Yes,
I remember
exactly.
it. I remember it seeming like this was like like watching a movie in real life. Like
they're gonna play a game tonight.
these guys were
with no
delivering
players.
packages last week. What?
Yeah.
This
They're
is
actors.
awesome.
They're actors on a TV
Hell
show.
yeah.
We're tuning in to watch a TV
You're right.
show with
we
actors.
were at an age where we could care less
About
what
the
was
business
happening
crowd.
with.
That's right.
But I knew that when they carried Joe Gibbs off the field, that meant something.
Yes.
I knew that was a really big deal. I don't care what you're doing. Yeah, we didn't know enough, but we knew that was big time because Dallas had a couple of those guys broke the picket line.
We beat them.
Yes, Anthony Dorsett was like, I might come help the Cowboys kick the Redskins' ass today. No, you will not, sir.
Bam. Bam. All right, so I wanted to get us in an 80s state of mind. We're about halfway through the show. In fact, we're past halfway through the show. But before we get to the 80s draft, I just had to do that to you guys.
Glad you did.
It's great. It is great. Let's do this. AGH, you, my friend, as the drafter for the board, get to lead off tonight in our draft.
Damn.
In our draft,
He's gonna have
80s
back-to-back drafts.
rock songs. Okay, so these songs are rock songs first and foremost. So we'll define that as we move through the draft. I'm not placing any boundaries. We're not taking anyone off the board. T. Everyone's in play. You can draft all the Billy Joel you want.
I've got all the questions.
All the Billy Joel you want. We are going to get started here. Drafting second. I think, we need somebody who can move the runner, and that's going to be Kevin Ricka. And then we're going to go with T. Strachan batting third in the, get him as many at-bats as possible role. And I'll bat cleanup at number 4. We're going to go 7 rounds, everybody. And we're gonna knock out 28
And we're gonna keep
of
it
the
moving.
best 80s rock songs that you've ever heard. And I think in many cases you'll find that even though these songs are officially crazy old, which is kind of insane, they are all of them songs you know. That is my solemn vow to most of you. Most of you. If you like any of these picks, please give us a thumbs up. If you don't like any of those picks, listen, just back away from the mouse. There's no need to click that dislike button. We haven't had a dislike in years. I don't know where those go either. But all I know is if they come with a pillowcase full of likes, I don't want any of those dislikes mixed in. All right, guys? Those hurt.
I didn't
They
listen
hurt.
to anything you said for the last 30 seconds.
They
but
hurt.
I have the draft order ready.
There you go.
And,
See, that's
and,
what I do.
And I don't think you want to dislike that. All
AGH,
right.
you are officially on the clock. Anthony Allen does still hold the record. Yards in one game. Oh,
255, I believe.
so while AGH is on the clock, we do have a simultaneous segment. This is going to be part of our lingering preseason discussion segment, and that is this. Because we talked about this last week, and this is about having fun. Our funnest moments of preseason as a fan base are watching the backup quarterback come onto the field and do good things. And thanks to Realm Title, we have a story to tell you about this past game. Sam Howell, the future, apparently to many folks, in our fan base, had himself quite a game. And all I can say is, from my perspective, again, plenty of guys. I watched a lot of season football over the last 5 days, like a stupid amount. Every team into the fourth quarter. I hate myself more than anyone else could possibly hate me for doing it. I love it so. It is such bad football, on average, for the most part. And you also know, kind of like when teams just want to go home, it's just 1,000 straight handoffs. Sam Howell played.
I didn't get that at all.
Not in our game.
Nope.
Sam Howell executed. He played the position he played the position, but then he also became a weapon in the course of playing the position. I just have to tip my hat. I don't want to overblow garbage time in the first preseason game. I don't want to do that. But I do want to say that there is a guy on our team at quarterback who we know is going to make the team. He's definitely going to be on our roster, and he is not sleeping in a bed full of shit right now.
Yo, dude, that kid came to ball on Saturday.
He did.
He came to ball, and I loved his poise. He looked comfortable. The fact that he can run the ball the way he did, dude, that was fun.
You guys are way more excited about this
It was
than
way,
I
no,
was.
it was
I know.
fun.
He did exactly what the fuck he was supposed to do.
It was fun.
Understood.
It was fun.
Understood. But I watched guys who
I
couldn't
love
do
the
it.
guy.
I watched
Boy
guys who
came
couldn't
to
do it in other
I love the
games.
guy. I loved him in college, but that's who we got. We got this guy.
We got this guy.
I'm
The
happy.
baller.
I'm excited about that because only because I did expend the time to and the names. It's shocking the recycling of quarterbacks that's going on at the third and fourth level of depth charts in the league, and to watch the fourth quarter of games and see guys who can't make the plays the same how can. It's noteworthy. It's noteworthy, and that it's an organizational depth positive.
I'm upset that Kevin was not more excited.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's
I know.
Not,
But
it's
you know how
not,
it feels like
it's
season.
not real.
It's not real. It's not real.
not
I
real.
understand. I understand.
It's nothing about it is.
U2 does not
excites me.
blow Craig Martin. U2 is
All right,
absolutely.
I'm going living
at
on
the
a
top.
prayer. Bon Jovi. It was the
First of
that
all,
was the
wait,
highlight.
He had the
AGH
first.
I know.
was the
and
first
he went Sweet
pick.
Child of Mine about 10 minutes
Sweet
ago.
Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses. I told you we had a sponsor segment.
I know. I didn't know.
And what'd you do?
Living on a prayer. Bon Jovi.
T, the runner's been advanced. My number one's off the board.
So I'm gonna pour some sugar on me.
Pour some sugar on tea.
Yes, please.
Unbelievable.
You know you want to.
All right, well,
I never really thought about it, but now I definitely don't.
All right, so I'm going to go back-to-back in the bottom of the first round. I'm going to go Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
I mean, AGH already took it first 3 picks ago.
I know.
So you've now won the award. Now you have to put your ass on the poll.
No, I'm doing it.
You have to put your ass on one of these polls.
I had to say that I'm drafting Sweet Child of Mine because I love it so much.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi is coming out for me. And because someone has to take them, and they're the Christian McCaffrey of the 80s rock draft. Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Top of the second. I hope they can stay healthy through week 6. That's all I'm asking. They're such a favorite.
Let me get to I got to get to my scratch list.
Whew. All right.
Don't you do it, Greg. Don't you do it.
So I'm up, right? I'm going to take
you're on the
Another One
clock.
Bites the Dust by Queen.
Another One Bites the Dust by Queen
Why
off
is that so
the
funny?
board.
Just the last few picks are just making me laugh.
What's wrong with that pick?
That's all right.
I didn't say anything.
Where are you going?
I'm allowed to be chuckly. I have all these guys on my place.
AGH, you got 2 coming up.
Who did you take? You haven't taken that.
My first pick, I took "Living on a Prayer." I went Bon Jovi, so Greg Martin could get all the stuff out of his system. And now, I'm gonna jump up and take "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" by Poison. It's my favorite
Ballad.
Poison song. Yes,
Ballad. All right, I'm okay with that.
dude, rock ballads are what the '80s
I understand.
aspired to be.
And I will say, this is where our paths, just barely diverge. I stayed away from some ballads. I don't know why I did. I don't know why I did. but
That's just
did.
I don't care. That song comes on,
Great song.
I'm losing
It's
it.
an all-time favorite. Soft. Whatever. Who's next?
AGH
AGH got
is
2.
back to
You
back.
got 2, AGH. Whatever, Greg. You don't know anything about sitting around a campfire listening to Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Neither do I, Greg. Neither do I.
Nats are back within 1 against the Cubs. We're following this absolutely closely. There you go. There you go. You didn't even know what I was doing. You didn't even pick up on the shtick.
No.
I will take Sweet Child.
No, I don't know what you're
Mine
talking
by
about.
Guns N' Roses. I love them so much. I love it so much. What do you got, AGH? There's a delay over. It goes over. It's got to go over the Atlantic Ocean, all the way over into.
I mean, we're playing
Wales.
a game
Kingdom.
with a guy in Wales right now.
I wonder if that's going to give us a copyright infringement. But T, keep doing it. I don't because I don't care.
I didn't play it long enough.
We were sponsored by Manscaped.
Don't you
tonight,
get
I
30
believe.
seconds?
Has a Washington theme. We're not going
We're
to take
not
it by
gonna
Twisted
take
Sister.
it.
Off the board. 1984. It has stood the test of time. AGH, you're going back to back, baby. There's a couple. I mean, I'm feeling good right now about my board. I mean,
Who'd he
pretty good.
take?
Took Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. You got that?
Looking.
Scroll, baby, scroll. I know who Ewald wants me to take, but I can't take him yet. I can't take that song yet.
Bananarama.
It's a cruel summer.
Oh, come on.
You shook me all night long, AC/DC. Going 1980. I just wrote on you. Do I do that a lot?
What'd he
I feel
take?
like I feel like there's like
What
a
did he
spot right
take?
here. You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC is gone. They snuck into the 80s with an amazing 70s jam, which would it's timeless. You Shook Me All Night Long. Yes, it was in the 80s, but it's pretty much a forever song. There's nothing 80s about it. It's all-time greatness. Kev?
So I'm on the clock.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, bring it on, T.
I'm going with my guys from Milwaukee, the Violent Femmes. And I know I'm gonna get some heart, but I don't care. That's rock. That's rock.
What do you got? Which one?
Blister in the Sun.
Yeah,
Violent
Blister in the
Femmes.
Sun. Which year?
I believe that's 83.
The coolest thing about that is it was a super popular song when we were in high school, if you recall.
Oh yeah,
It was crazy.
It was my jam.
When you were driving down the road, if you were on the Washington D.C. Beltway and that song came on, and it was like dun 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 all day long, bleed your horn.
Yeah, I remember that. And HFS Festival, they put on the best performance. That was in the early '90s, but they tore DC apart.
I have no problem.
They were
with
badass
that at all.
I'm a Violent Femmes. I'm a big fan.
All right. So is that back to me for 2?
No, it's me.
It is on T.
It's on T, and then
Here's
you
my
get the 2.
first of 2 potentially controversial picks.
you're gonna have some ones. Did you bring a sweater vest tonight? Because we might need to put you in it.
No sweater vest.
What do you got?
I'm gonna take "When Doves Cry" by Prince.
I got
How's
that on my
that
list.
controversial?
Not?
No,
All right, there
not at
you
all.
go.
I always think of Millhouse Van.
And seeing as you already played it like
From The
3
Simpsons.
minutes ago, I knew it was coming.
You accidentally played the beginning of it.
I did not hear it.
Oh yeah, Little Prince. All right, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. I got 2 here. First of all, I'm gonna love Prince. This is 1984. It's kind of starting to, it's inspiring maybe a pick in me. I'm not sure. You're gonna let it go just like that? Fine. Welcome to the Jungle, 1987. Guns N' Roses gets me back in the game because I had a loose first round. So I got some GNR in the gates, and so I have the ability to freestyle here. So 80s. 1985, there was a song that was the absolute sound of a movie, and to this day, I think it reverberates.
I know what it is.
Don't you
Yes, that was gonna
forget
be
about
pick.
me
That was gonna be my last pick.
by the Simple Minds, 1985.
That song reminds me. That's
I'll
my
be
80s.
alone and dancing, you know it.
If there's
Baby.
one song from the '80s that I go to, it's that. It's that.
So does that make up for my Wanted Dead or Alive? Because
What was that in? What was
No,
that?
I
Was that
did.
in
I
Breakfast
liked it.
Club?
Oh, you
Was it
did.
in 16 Candles?
Breakfast Club. It was
It
a
was in
Breakfast Club.
everything.
It wasn't everything, but Breakfast
It
Club was
wasn't
the
everything.
bam, situation. But but that said, that song comes on, you just let it rock. Today's day of the
ADDJ.
ADDJ,
Can't stand it.
they can't stand it. That song,
Let me hear that shit.
I want all of it.
Give me the whole thing.
So in today's day, thank you for helping me out with that because I was struggling. The ADD DJ. If you're an ADD DJ listening to this show right now and you're out there and Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me comes on, let it freaking play. Okay? And you know what? Let most of the songs play. If people play it, they want to hear it. Oh, you're going with one of my guys. Okay, I picked 2 and it's going back to Kevin.
No, tease up.
It's going back to T.
Dude,
I don't
can
know.
I
don't know.
see-
You're in charge.
Can I see the list real quick?
Yes. I will take Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
I want to keep singing these songs, but
The Nationals and Chicago Cubs are
What is-
currently tied
what is
4-4
number 12? What does that say?
in the
Aye.
bottom of the 8th.
welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle's gone, baby. Gone. I just drafted him. But, you want to hear it. We got to hear it.
All right.
Come on.
I am going to take
I'm not forgetting him, Greg.
Jump.
There it is.
Van Halen.
1983. I think the coolest thing about doing this draft, Kevin, and I know you don't need time to think, but I just want to tell you this one thing. Hearing this song and talking about these songs in the shadow of the Motown draft that we had a couple weeks ago, yes, they're defined by the era, but they're freaking great timeless songs. This is not us like cherry picking.
I'm not a rock guy, and I was surprised at how well I knew all these songs.
Yes. Good music is good music. The creme de la creme is the creme de la creme. Kevin, what do you got, baby?
I'm thinking here.
Okay, think some more because I got one more thing for that.
All right, I'm gonna. I'm going in excess. Need you tonight.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Need you tonight is my jam. Big NXS guy. Can't hide from it.
First of all, we're been big NXX guys.
Sorry.
Don't try to.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Don't try to auto
All right, well,
succeed yourself on that.
We'll see what
Okay?
happens by the end of this draft.
Listen, it's not just about
We
yourself.
will see what happens.
Wait, AG.
AGH is going to swim the Atlantic and
kill
murder T.
What? Why?
He took
AGH?
jump.
Oh, because he took. Okay, I got you. Okay, all right. So AGH is on for.
I'm just saying,
2 picks.
You know, in one of these murder movies in the next 10 years, we've got all of a sudden First Amendment comes. We're going to be doing like one of those interviews 15 years after. We didn't think he could swim that far.
We didn't think he would swim that far, but he was determined, and he really, really wanted that song. I don't think you understand what that song meant to him. The obvious next question is, well, why didn't you draft him in the second round or third round? And you're like, you don't understand. I got to stick to my board. Don't try to take NXS away from me.
Oh, here we go. Run to the hills.
Iron Maiden, first pick.
Red approves.
Red approves. Hey, Rhett, what's the best song you've heard us draft so far? Number 1 song. Sweet Child of Mine, which I drafted early on.
Alice Cooper, Poison.
Not to be confused with the...
Is it Back to Me?
no, I believe it's back
It is.
It is Back to
to
Me.
you. You're batting second.
And I'm going to step up with my favorite Bruce Springsteen song and go,
Oh, yeah.
Trapped.
Ooh!
My number 1 Bruce Springsteen,
Really?
live at Madison Square Garden. What a
Okay.
tremendous version. He crushes
First
that song.
Bruce song, didn't think it'd be that.
That
And
is-
also,
that
you
is-
were not
that is
the favorite to be the first person to pick a Bruce song because you know he's on the wall.
Yeah.
Damn it. Red Donnelly's number 1 is still on the board. That's interesting. It could be anything. It could be a great song, and it could be like an insanely terrible song. Who knows? Nobody knows. 2?
No, it's T, then U for 2.
Two for T?
1 for T, 2 for Ken.
T for 2.
It goes T, Ken, T.
Oh, he's putting one in. Are you?
Oh, I turned
You
off my
messed
phone.
it up.
It's
Oh
okay.
my
It's called Money for
gosh.
Nothing.
Unbelievable. You're going. I know what you're doing.
Drop my phone.
I announced it for you. It's okay.
I heard it. Put it right next to the mic. Money for
Was it the first song on MTV? First video, I'm sorry.
was
It
it? No. Was it?
I think that's the.
Video Killed the Radio Star.
I
by
was
the
gonna say. I think this is
Buggles
right.
is in the conversation for that.
You're on deck for 2
Yeah.
back to back.
Are you gonna vent for me?
Do what?
Do you have any banter?
Banter? Oh, because you have to make some choices. No, I'm trying. I'm actually trying to look at my board
I know.
and
This
Dude's
reminds me
rocking out with
of-
his cock out.
This reminds me of our fantasy football draft.
Yes.
Where like it goes from us having fun to you being like, listen, I'm here to make picks.
Well, no,
Nothing
I
else.
have complete ADD.
I know,
So
I
having
know.
a conversation with you and
you're
T
up.
playing the music, and I'm trying to do this.
I know.
Not as
You
fun as
okay?
the Motown draft.
You need a little cuddling.
Well, I'm also looking at this. This 19 is nowhere near our first
all right,
19 in the
okay, I got
Motown
you, I
draft.
got
That's
you.
just that's just.
I got
All right,
just
make
tough.
picks.
Money for nothing off the table. Okay. No.
Video Killed the Radio Star.
We got that. I believe we're on the same page there. Okay, so what round are we in?
We've made 19 picks, so this is the last pick of the 5th round.
5th round. So I have
Yep.
this pick. I have 3 more picks to make.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So now I got to start being strategic because I want to get some ideas in of what the 80s were from a rock standpoint. And I think that I have to go with 1988, Nothing But a Good Time by Poison, because I still listen to that song probably 4 or 5 times a week. And it is...
How can you resist?
How can I resist? How can I resist? Because I don't need nothing but a good time. And can I tell you something else, Kevin?
You can.
It don't get better than this.
Wow.
It don't Get better than this.
And it down.
Let me tell you something else about my situation during the 80s. And I have 2 songs here, and I have a hard time deciding which one to go with. But because I missed out on Sweet Child of Mine, yes, I got Welcome to the Jungle. Fine, I got it. Was it the number 1 pick for some of you on the board? Yes, I understand. I got the best value of the entire draft of this entire situation. Fine. But it's not going to stop me from going Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Because that, in 1989, which, by the way, snuck into the 80s. Of all of my picks, it is the... There's only four songs that fall into 1989 that easily could have been almost 90s. Paradise City, off the board. T?
Now it's on T. There's so many songs for the next 50. There's so many songs that are right next to each other for me.
I understand. That's why I was focusing on 7 rounds to make it a hard decision. So you would reach for a couple that wouldn't otherwise make the top 30.
I mean, the next 5 rounds could all be the same for me. Like I got a lot of. There's a lot.
The best part is I put together a board that was super short, and we're already through almost 6 rounds, and I have like 15 songs left.
Because it's not my genre, but because I think I want to stay true to those who do really like the genre.
Continue preaching.
It might not be my first choice personally.
No, I want it all, Kevin. I want
Rocky
it all.
Like
I
a
want it,
Hurricane
Kevin. I
by the
want it.
Scorpions.
Okay, so that was in my top 10, and I don't know why I stayed away for so long. But can I ask you guys a sidebar
Not my
question?
favorite song in the world, but in terms of 80s rock songs,
Is Rock Me Like a Hurricane better than Winds of Change by Scorpions? In your mind?
They're so opposite.
I know they are. I know they are.
Mama, mama,
I know.
na, na.
I'm asking an honest question. I don't know the
Versus-
answer.
It's personal preference.
What is your personal preference?
I like them both.
Dude, you're the worst.
Neither of those are in my top 100. I'm just going to tell you that.
Fine. I'll take that all day.
You can have it.
By the way,
All night.
I don't. Okay, so who's up?
I am.
Before you make your pick.
T's going to play our music and you're going to talk to me for half
and
an
I'm
hour?
going to talk to you for half an
Sweet.
hour.
I'm glad I made a list.
Our plan is
so
working,
many
Ken.
spots. 80s
Next
rock
time I won't do this for the
has
full week.
been defined by 3 things: a repetitive title, electric instruments, and what? Anyone know the third thing? These are the 80s rock songs, like underpinnings.
I thought you were talking to T. I was trying to make my pick.
Make your pick. Make your pick.
Patience, my favorite Guns N' Roses song.
Patience. Is
Had to
great.
get some GNR on there.
You don't have any junior yet, do you?
But they're my number. That's my number 1. I mean, I get it.
your number one
Everyone
band?
has their my number 1 band of all time.
No,
or-
80s.
No. It would.
Patience was your number 1?
Patience is my number 1 Guns N' Roses song.
Okay.
It's not close. Violent Femmes would probably be my go-to, but the Police are right there for me.
That's the most repetitive of all repetitive 80s bands.
What?
Police.
The Police might be the most talented as well.
I know. That's fair. But their songs are defined by the repetition of the song's title. Every Police song, the title of that song is repeated over and over and over again throughout the entire song in like almost a weird way. It's kind of
I love them, so that must be something I enjoy.
something you enjoy. But I always think about that because repetitive titles, repetitive like phrases, is a thing in the 80s, and the Police were amongst the top performers in that category. Others were too, but if you think about when I listen to their songs, they just throw out their title of the song on a loop.
I really hope you're not trying to dog the Police right now.
No, I think they're great. I mean, Sting is a freaking legend. Are you
I know.
kidding me?
I'm just
Their
making
drummer's
sure.
great. Their bassist
I'm
is
sticking up for my
great.
guy, Sting. I know.
That was a style.
I think their sound transcends and has withstood the test of time.
Yeah.
Maybe their repetitive style.
No, it's not a repetitive style. It was the style of
AGH,
the
rock
era.
is rock. Yes, you're up for 2.
2. I'm not a police, like they're not going to be on my wall, but I'm not turning them off ever. Sting's great. Anyone like any of the picks we made? Come on, we have like 110 people watching right now, ish. All right, what do you got?
We waiting on
AGH for 2.
AGH for 2.
And so
This town
after
is a-
AGH
this
is
town is
one,
a
we all
part of
have
us
one
all.
more.
Oh, the final countdown by Europe off the board. 1986.
Everyone has one left. Master of Puppets, Metallica.
What do you got? T?
Well, it's not his pick, so it's my pick. So
Does he already know your pick?
This is for another.
Yeah. All right, so
It's your pick, right, Kev?
interesting thing about that song, if anyone cares, that guy was a keyboardist. He was a piano player. He wrote that entire solo, that entire keyboard solo, independent of that song, and then made a song around that piano solo. And guess what? He was right. He was right. It was a great solo.
debatable.
I
Very
mean,
debatable.
It became a world.
Everyone has their own opinion.
It's
And
true.
I've stuck with my board, and I'm going to stick with it.
Who's up? Me?
I am.
I know.
I'm up for my final pick,
Kevin is up.
and I'm taking the first lovely lady of the rock and roll 80s, Joan Jett. I love
I
rock and roll.
love
That song, thumps.
Rock and roll. All right, so goes to T and then goes to me. Wait, that's the last pick of this row, but then we go to this pick, right?
No, this is it.
What's that? What's that?
It's 7 rounds of 4.
28. T, what do you got?
Well, I have a ton to choose
Yes, you
from,
do. You have a ton to choose.
But I thought this would be the first one of this artist taken. And in spirit of my brother, who taught me about 80s music, my wife, who loves it, and she'd kill me if I didn't take him. Born in the USA.
Yeah. Bruce. I gotta tell you, it is a iconic. Red, is your number one still out there? Huh. All right. All right. Here's how we're gonna do this. The last pick, Mr. Irrelevant of this draft, is gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to take a band that isn't known for being an '80s band, but it's known for being a rock band, but that had a great rock song in the '80s, and we'll make it Mr. Irrelevant. "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones. I love it. I'm a big Rolling Stones guy. I know it's not an '80s pick. Now, we always do a bonus round, and we're gonna do one bonus round. So I made Mr. Irrelevant the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, Ron Wood, Randy, all those guys. That means one extra round of all the people that we missed. AGH, you get to go first. AGH, you get to go first in the bonus round. Who did we miss? Who's still on your board? Who do you want to draft? I'm not going girls, girls, girls. Come on, seriously, Greg? Let's all grow up a little bit here, okay? Count Chocula, Peter Pan.
Life.
All right, AGH, in this bonus round, you get to round us out. Who's it going to be? Number 1 pick in the most snubbed of the 80s rock songs. We got some. I mean, I got a lot of bangers here still. I'm not going to lie. I know you guys do too. If I do, I know. There's like 1,000 80s. I know. Like, there's almost no lines left. There's only the guys you picked. It's crazy. AGH, what do you got? What do you got? Don't listen, just because the World Cup's coming up and we're about to be playing each other in November, we can still be friends now. Not until then. I'm going to go, Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue. Okay. Well, I will never, ever go against the Crew.
So does that mean I'm up on the...
Yeah.
All right, well, I was disappointed I wasn't going to get to draft this, and I should have taken it with my last pick. I left the Cure out so as not to get judged by everyone, but I'm a huge Cure guy, but I don't think this is part of the... I don't think they're right for this conversation.
Oh. Okay.
They don't have to be. They can be. I'm just going to avoid it because I don't want to deal with it.
Wow, and also, until I saw your haircut, I never even thought it was possible.
I don't know what you're talking about. What's wrong with my haircut?
It's long.
I love it. No,
It's
you know, it's not long enough for me.
It's dong.
Can we talk about that?
Great White, once bitten, twice shy.
Twice shy.
Great White, baby. That is my Mr. Irrelevant.
That's a great one. God, I can't. The green room conversations about that song are going to be memorable.
Are you going to bring your Chubb to it? I know.
My Nick Chubb,
yes,
Hunt.
I get it. I get
running
it.
back
I get
there.
it.
T, last pick. Who got snubbed? Who from your list didn't get picked? God damn it, I love that song.
Snubbed?
Once bitten, twice shy.
It's a great one.
It is a great one.
These guys
I have so many songs.
Did these guys
left.
get snubbed?
Who do you got?
Oh.
No, they didn't get snubbed.
They were in there?
No, yes, but you can pick them. What do you got? I know this song. I've heard it live with the motorcycles, by the way, multiple times. Is that who you're going with?
Sure. Girls.
Let it go.
Motley Crue. What was
So-
the other Motley Crue song taken?
Kickstart My Heart was taken earlier. Kevin Ewald and I sat third row center at a Baltimore First Mariner Arena concert of these guys. They came out in the second. They had 3 acts. In the second act, they came out with a stage full of motorcycles. Started them all, revved them all up to the top of the pot. It smelled like gasoline fumes. To the point where I'm like, we're inside. Like this might be a problem. Like you can't just run engines like this.
It is a tribute to 7 nightclubs mentioned in the music. The lead singer had a tattoo of the song's title and also owned a strip club in Japan.
Yeah, I'm a Motley Crue guy till I die. Till I leave this earth, I will play these songs. So T, you did a great job. So maybe I already drafted Mr. Irrelevant, so maybe now I'm drafting Miss Irrelevant in a way. But maybe not in that.
Yeah, because there's one band in here that hasn't been picked yet that chaps my ass a little bit. But the hairband girls,
Yeah.
I prefer to look at a little bit better.
Well, are you talking about Aerosmith?
No. Talking about arguably the best, well, I'm not going to say it. It's your pick, but
Someone from AC/DC got picked.
I'm talking about a girls band that hasn't been picked yet. That rock.
Pat Benatar?
No. Get with it, man. There's like 5
The
jams.
Go-Go's?
Just take it easy. You're not even close.
I'm not even close to the Go-Go's.
This was a big hair girls band, and they actually were good with the acts. They were both there was two front singers, ladies, and they were all girls, and they were badass.
And not the Go-Go's. And not Bananarama.
Heart, man, it's freaking Heart.
Nate's a little Nancy Wilson for you for that ass.
I don't care. I love Heart.
I love Heart too.
Alone is my jam.
If you didn't say that, I wouldn't want to talk to you about it on the air. But now all I want to do is talk to you about.
I know, right?
I know. And
I've been
these dreams,
awesome.
these dreams are on my dude. These dreams
They're both
are
in my
on my list.
These dreams and alone are both in my next, but
But
you know, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of my rock.
What song from
duality.
AC/DC was chosen?
AC/DC, you shook me all night long, chosen earlier on.
And well,
Yeah.
That's it. That's his number one.
Well, you actually
nah.
read my mind. I know you don't like it. That's what I was going.
I love this song.
That's
But-
on my first tier, and I'm on an AC/DC tear right now. By the way, you thought you were playing. You think you were playing? You shook me all night long.
No,
Okay, because this is my pick.
because this is higher on my list of AC/DC
The last pick of the draft
songs.
is Back in Black by AC/DC by me. It was. I can't believe it wasn't picked by now. In Rapid Fire, Blurt 'Em Out. Your Mics Are Live. Beat It by Michael Jackson. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Yep.
Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. One by Metallica. Angel, Aerosmith.
Yep.
Let's Go Crazy, Prince. Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne. How Soon Is Now, The Smiths. I still haven't found what I'm looking for by U2. Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue. Janie's Got a Gun, song that wouldn't at all be okay today by Aerosmith. In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins. Free Fallin', Tom Petty. Rebel Yell, Billy Idol. Under Pressure, Queen, David Bowie. Touch of Grey, Grateful Dead. Glory Days, Bruce Springsteen. Kevin?
Never Tear Us Apart, NXS. You Give Love a Bad Name, Bon Jovi. Abracadabra, Steve Miller Band. Love Song, The Cure. Just Like Heaven, The Cure. Here I Go Again, Whitesnake. The one I was going to pick last. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight, Cutting Crew. Banger.
Oh,
Then Alone. Love Bites, Def Leppard. God, I love it. Add It Up, Violent Femmes. Wrapped Around Your Finger, Police. You don't want guys don't want to hear Police. You got that. These Dreams. Running Down a Dream, Tom Petty. I'll Be There for You, Bon Jovi. Angel, Aerosmith. Jane Says, Jane's Addiction. No one grabs Jane Says.
I should have
1988.
walked away. By the way, if I would have...
Don't You Want Me, Baby, The Human League. That's a little poppy, but
Jane Says should have been drafted.
Jane Says should have been drafted.
Of all the things I said and all the things you said, Jane Says is the thing that stands
I
out to me
agree.
the hardest.
I think I agree with you. Dance With Myself, Billy Idol is a banger.
White Wedding,
Fire on the Mountain, Grateful Dead. I mean, that's just my
Touch of
genre.
Grey by Grateful Dead.
Purple Rain, Prince with the
Yeah.
violin and the
Yep.
electric guitar is nastiness.
Awesome.
My
awesome.
go-to
Hold on,
rock
Kiss Me
song.
Deadly, Lita Ford. We don't have her
I
in there.
know.
Come
I
on,
know.
pretty
Damn
baby.
it.
Kiss Me Deadly.
And if you
Yes.
have the original Africa by Toto,
Yes.
I did not.
I wasn't
It's the weirdest
a Toto
video in the
guy,
history of
but it's
videos.
better
You have to
than-
watch it.
it's better than the new.
I'm a
version.
Rosanna first when it comes to Toto.
I like Toto's other stuff. The Cars Drive also. I like some of the Don't Stand So Close. Oh, sheesh.
Top Heavy.
No
AKA.
One Like You, the Scorpions. Did you take them?
No, I
There's no one like you.
Winds of Change was
I
probably
took
my
a
favorite
Scorpion
Scorpion song,
song.
but not a song I would have drafted in this draft.
I'm on fire, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm on fire. There's so many Bruce songs, obviously.
All right. That's all. That's everything I got. That was,
T, anything we missed that you want to cover? Rhett,
I
anything you
got
missed?
Photograph
you wanna
and
cover?
Def Leppard. Was
Because
that
I took
covered?
your number one. Biatch. Okay, so Foreigner,
taken.
I want to know what love is on a lot
I
of lists.
want you to show me.
And does qualify because in addition to being a ballad,
It's a great
it is
one.
a rocker.
It's a great rock ballad.
Yes. R.I.P. Bon Scott. By the way, Bon Scott, original, one of the, not the original singer of
Sorry.
AC/DC.
18 in Life. Did we say that? Skid Row?
No, we didn't
And
say
we
it.
also say, I remember you, Skid Row.
No, we didn't.
Shout out Sebastian Bach if we're talking 80s ballad
By the way,
business.
Your
Let me
Bon
ask you: Did
Scott
either
call,
of you
Rhett,
have
is-
or AGA's Planet
sit on
Rock?
me.
Africa
By
Bombada.
Africa Bombada.
That list is that's a weird one.
I know,
This was
I know,
cool,
like
though. Bombada
the
was often referred
viewership
to as
is
the Godfather of hip hop.
sinking as we make our way to the end of the show.
Rock and hip hop and put it together.
But
Yeah,
the Bon Scott
I say that
thing
was
is,
Walk This Way. So
listen,
People-
guys.
I
people-
wouldn't
can
agree.
argue,
I wouldn't.
yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Red says R.I.P. Bon Scott. He died in like what 1980. He was a lead singer for
1982.
AC/DC from 1974 to 1980. He was the lead singer when he took over the lead. This is a cool music thing. So we're doing a music draft. If anyone cares and they're still watching, a guy named Jimmy Barnes. Does anyone know who Jimmy Barnes is? He is like the Bruce Springsteen of Australia. He came up in the 80s in Australia under a band called Cold Chisel. He got his lead singing debut opportunity when Bon Scott left the band that he was in to go to AC/DC. So then Jimmy Barnes becomes like this guy, and he's in the Australian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was a huge guy in the 80s and 90s and 2000s and 2010s. Do yourself a favor, listen to this song, Stone Cold by Jimmy Barnes with Joe Bonamassa on guitar. If I give you any recommendation to make a bet or place a wager any part of your personal existence, do it in that song.
Is he saying we should bet a penis on this? Is that what I just heard?
I don't. That's pretty
A
high
wiener
stakes,
bet?
dude.
There was a song called Working.
That's the highest stakes.
You guys remember the 80s comedy movie that was on all of our lists, but we didn't draft any of it from Gung Ho with Michael Keaton?
Oh, great movie.
Great movie. The directed by Ron Howard. Lead song of that movie called Working Class Man from the mid-80s, sung by Jimmy Barnes, an Australian who was singing about working class people from America. He's an absolute stud. He's still alive. Thank God he's still alive. He's crushing it at this very moment. Give him a listen. That's what you're getting from tonight's Basement Podcast. I love Tuesday nights. We did it again. He's Benjamin. I bear a few words. He's Tim Strachan.
Appreciate it. Glad we got through that. Not my genre. Glad I got through unscathed.
I would say more than
On
unscathed.
other news, I'm glad we got to see some football. Looking forward to seeing some football
Yes.
again this weekend.
Good. Part of what we're doing, T, as you so eloquently chimed in throughout the evening, was focusing on a decade. We've been doing this for 2 weeks, not on accident. We're trying to help all those folks out there who don't remember, who have no basis of understanding. One of the greatest decades, not just of football fandom in this area, but of everything else fandom, movies, songs, TV shows. That's a little hint. We're going TV shows very, very, very soon. I want to say as soon as next week.
Well, we have to
sitcoms.
we have to say it now because you always forget. what it
80s
is.
sitcoms?
I do. No. We're going 90s. We're going 90s sitcoms. We're gonna move our way up.
I never
sitcoms.
watched any sitcoms in the '90s. That's a tough year.
How about 90s, like 90s series? Shows that lasted more than 4 years in the 90s. Is that fair?
I didn't watch any television in the '90s.
Any television in the 90s?
'80s, all of it.
No 90210.
I didn't. We can do whatever we want, but you don't act like I'm going to be all excited from 4 years of sitcom in the '90s. I know none of it. I didn't watch Seinfeld or
Let's
Friends
keep
in the
the
'90s.
80s
So
and do
that's-
80s
I know.
sitcoms.
Okay, that's
I-
fair. No,
yeah, I'm just being honest.
This is the post-show epilogue that we need to have.
80s sitcoms.
So if we're gonna do a 90s draft,
AGH.
where does it have to be for us to do it? Because I want to move us through.
we can
the
talk.
decades.
We can talk about this. We can talk about this in the green room, I guess.
We can talk
just
about the
have
green
a-
room.
But we
Yeah,
need, we
that's
just need
true.
to-
That's true. And we can solicit some
Yeah.
from the board to join in. So we're
Solicit.
We need help, guys
If we
and
solicit,
gals.
it has to be someone with a bit of a
no solicitation.
Yeah, if we're soliciting, it
Wait,
better be
T,
someone.
you're our
that's a little-
lawyer here. Can we solicit in this
Yes.
We can
situation?
solicit Rhett,
100%
correct, Rhett?
correct.
Do we have your permission to
Solicitation?
solicit you?
Do we have any solicitation rights at all in the situation?
Do you
I have
mind being
no idea.
solicited?
What about sitcom characters?
No.
We'll figure it out. You know what? We're going to have the green room conversation. We're going to get back to everybody. We're going to be back next Tuesday night with a fun August Tuesday night.
That sounds good.
The thing about everyone says, like, oh, why do you care about your little dinky Tuesday night show having a sub, off-season on their break branding? Here's why. Tonight's episode 26. We've been doing this for 26 straight weeks. And we're going to continue to do it all the way up into the regular season. We do it every single year. We talk about our favorite team, the Washington Commanders, in its current form. And we make it fun on the backside of that. Tuesday nights are supposed to be fun. Tuesday nights are supposed to be awesome. Tuesday nights are supposed to underscore the greatness and positivity of everything that we have going on in our lives. Has that not been what Tuesday has been for us?
That's very true. That's very true.
7 years going, guys. We're going to be back next Tuesday night to do it all over again. Please join us. Until then, hit that thumbs up. For God's sakes, hit the thumbs up. It's going to go into a bucket. That's T with a copyright infringement violation of the evening.
Excellent first pick of the evening.
We love it. We're gonna.
That was the
we're
was the go-to.
Throwing away the 87 cents we were otherwise going to make from this show tonight. You know what?
Have that
T,
shit, YouTube.
Light it on fire, baby. Light it on fire. I love it. See you next
Burning
Tuesday
down
night.
the house. We didn't have them in there either. Damn it.
We're still live.
Talking Heads got no love, but the rock genre is very to each their own.